is called Making the Most of Dusk. Leave it in from work. The woods are gorgeous now. Look at the colours on those trees. Aren't they just beautiful? Oh wow, look at this tree. Is that tree not just so beautiful? So welcome back to my vlog. I'm Judy and I'm the running so-and-so, and I am today going to review the outfit I made for my birthday, the one that I rejected, and I have something really special to show you in the form of a surprise birthday present from my children. So sit back and enjoy. This weekend I have got 2 meals out. Now unfortunately I made a dress. I made my Sew My Birth Year dress. So here's a picture of my Sew My Birth Year dress, and I'm just going to insert a little bit of vlogging I did earlier today. Now, this is the dress that I have made for the Sew Your Birth Year challenge. It's not finished by a long way. You can see that I've not finished the belt properly, but I've popped it on the model because I wanted to have a feel of what the dress looked like, and to try and decide, is it me or isn't it me? And yesterday Hannah came to the house and the two of us had a good look at the dress and decided that however beautiful it isn't me. The dress is absolutely gorgeous, and I have to give a real shout out to the pattern, which is Butterick 6318. I'm stood to the side here. I'm trying something completely different to show you what the garments look like when they're finished using my model. So I've got my dress form here and it's all expanded out to be my size. Unfortunately, it just doesn't suit me. I think it's, Hannah and I have discussed it at length, and we think it is the size and the fullness of the skirt that I don't like. You see, you've got me at the side here. I'm just here, just going to pop in. So the actual sleeves are fine. The neckline we think is probably too high. We think it would be better if the neckline was lower for me. But it's the amount of skirt, and I've done everything to try and swoosh it down. But I feel as if I've got my hands on my skirt. Please forgive the way I look this morning. I'm on sewing mode this morning, so I've dressed comfortably with my latest favourite Isla top. Can you see? It's the one that's got Life Isn't Complete Without a Dog, and it's just the most beautiful top to wear. So I've popped it on here, and it unfortunately it just doesn't suit me. It just doesn't do it for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it. I'm going to finish it off, put the zip in it, and I'm going to use it if I want fancy dress for anything. It is absolutely gorgeous. The fabric came from Walton's. It's a lovely rayon, and I think Mr. Walton said there was a little bit of silk in it, but not a lot, and it really wasn't very expensive. I think I paid £5 a metre for it. And it looks gorgeous because underneath, look, it's pink, which is why I've got the pink reversed on the belt. And what I thought I could have done at one point was to have done the belt the other way. I'm doing it now to show you. I thought the belt could have gone this way, come to the front and been in pink like that, and I thought that could have looked quite nice. But unfortunately, it's just the way it sits over my hips. It could be that the difference between here and the distance here, and it just, my hips and the way my body is now just does not work with these really full skirts. When I did the Gertie Scout dress, that had a full skirt. The fabric was softer, and Hannah and I, my daughter Hannah, we were wondering whether a softer fabric might have worked. And the soft fabric I'd got that I would have used was the Lady McElroy Savannah Viscose, and I'm so glad I didn't make it, just in case the same thing happened and I didn't like the dress. So it's a sad one, but I love it. It's the most stunning dress, but unfortunately it isn't for me. I'm not even going to say it was a sewing fail because it made up absolutely beautifully, but there you go. Sometimes you make things and they just don't work for you. But you must look at it and think, I've achieved this, I've made this dress, and when the pattern falls together, you know you've got a good one. So as you can see, I've decided that I do not want to wear the dress. It just isn't me. It's just one of those things. So I've had to have a bit of a rethink as to what it is I'm going to wear to these 2 meals on Saturday. So my first thought was I'm going to wear my Jessie Marionnaire with the Discovery knitting fabric, which is absolutely gorgeous. Love it to bits. We're going to the Ivy. I think that with jeans will look absolutely fantastic. Now, the other meal I'm going for is just down at the local gastro pub in the evening, and I am going to wear the Faye. Or I'm going to say I'm going to wear the Faye. It depends whether it fits me and suits me. I have, those of you who have seen on my Instagram, that I did actually put a picture out saying that I was cutting it out and measuring it, and Maison Fauve do not give the ease, so the finished measurements. You have got to work those out yourself. So I was sat there with my tape measure, being generous. So the chances are that the eases are greater than I have given it. But when I say greater, I'm talking maybe 3 centimeters, so it's not a lot, and the garment is loose fitting. So I'm making it in their Tencel. Here it is. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. I am going to put a link in on my description box to Emily's sew along for it. Now, it is in French, and as I keep saying, I'm learning French, but it's very slow. But the more you read, the more you listen, the more you understand. But the pictures and the actual visual demonstrations are absolutely outstanding. And for every single one of her patterns, there is an instructional YouTube video. So if you don't understand anything, just go onto the video, watch it through, and you will see what Emily is trying to tell you. And one of the things she does do in the vlog for the Faye is to show you a lovely way of collecting the point for your collar. So I'm going to try that, and it needs a thicker thread. So I've got a buttonhole thread here, or a top stitching thread, whatever you want to call it, but it's a slightly thicker thread, and I'm going to do that. Emily in her instructions also tells you washing and sewing instructions, and one of the things she has said for this particular fabric is a microtex needle. So I have threaded up Bernie B's paw with a microtex needle. I have threaded up Mrs. Acclaim, my overlocker. She has got microtex needles in. She has got navy thread in, and Bernie has got the rust coloured thread that Maison Fauve sold for the fabric. And the covered buttons have arrived this morning from Amazon. I've got some prim buttons to cover. So let's get going. I like you to be able to see, and I've had such lovely comments about my sewing, and people saying that they want me to see me sewing. Well, after all, it is a sewing channel, so let's do some sewing. So as I have said before, I always set my stitch length as a slightly longer. I've actually got it at the moment on 350. And I'm just going to check the instructions from Emily. Her new patterns for Maison Fauve are in English and in French. So this is the booklet for the Faye. That's lovely. And if you open it up, the page is split in two. So you have your French on one side and you have your English on the other, and they are side by side and run next to it. All the embroideries there, all the abbreviations and instructions are there. Her seam allowances are there, and I'm sure when I have read through this, it does advise me to use, oh no, it was on the website actually when I bought the fabric. That's where it advised me to use the Tencel needle. But here at the bottom, I hope this comes out correctly on the vlog, but here in the capital letters at the bottom, it's telling me that there is that vlog. Now it's a 1 centimetre seam allowance, so my machine from the position of the needle in the centre of the foot to the edge of the foot is 1 centimetre, so off I go. I've done all my tests, all my testing is done, all my threading, oiling, cleaning has been done. So I'm starting with the collar piece. I think I've probably got this the wrong way around. Now, what she shows on her vlog is really, really interesting, and that's when you get to the end here of the collar piece. Let me see if I can zoom you in a bit more. Okay, when you're getting close to that point, she starts to alter the stitch length so that you don't go over. taking the pin out, and I'm going to get the piece of thread. I have missed the darts out. I have got the darts here to sew. So we get quite close to the point, which takes the stitch length down so that you get a really good control into the point. Now I'm just checking there that I'm definitely 1 centimetre away from the point, and I'm not. So I'm just going to do another stitch and check it again. I could put the knee lift on, but I haven't. Now again, I'm still not quite right, so I need to come down to a much smaller stitch. And my machine seems to think I want to stop there, but I don't. Right. I now know that I am perfect. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to pop in this thread. So the thread goes in, and you pull it right to the needle. Do a stitch, and hopefully it won't come out. No, it's not caught yet. It's got to get caught by the stitch. I'm trying this because I've seen it online and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. Now it's caught, you bring the thread on the inside, like so. Fold this back over and finish your seam, taking your stitch length back to where you wanted it. For me it's 3.5. I thought that was quite a good technique there, lowering the stitch. And don't you know, after all these years, I've never ever thought of doing that. Scissors off. Let's see if it works. Trim the end. Fold this around, and the idea is that the 2 little threads here will pull out the point. Oh my gosh, look at that! Look at that! It's worked! How cool is that? Thank you, Emily. I can't take the credit for that. That was what I caught on the Maison Fauve techniques vlog. For getting that point. That's fantastic. Wait till I do the next one. But the idea is that you get that thread up and next to the needle. So there it goes, up next to the needle. Down it comes. That is definitely caught because I can feel it pulling the other end. Pull them both in here so they don't get caught double, and finish sewing. Oh my gosh, that is, I'm going to be using that technique so often. It is immense, absolutely immense. I think what I'm going to do is to sew my seams, iron them flat, then close them up again, and then overlock. This Tencel is beautifully fine fabric, and I'm using the clover pins. I'll try and get a link from Amazon for you. But these clover pins that I use, I'll pop it down here so you can see it. I have got red pins as well. I'm just going to grab you a red pin. Here's a red pin. The blue pins are slightly finer than the red pins, and I use the blue pins for finer fabric and the red pins for the thicker fabric. So the fabric I used when I made the Butterick dress, the Sew My Birth Year dress, I used the orange pins, and then sort of my viscoses and things I use these, but the blue ones. But I do get rid of my pins. I don't keep them forever because they do wear out. And I'm using these, is it Bohin pin cushions? Susie at Thread Quarters had got one. I think she'd got this one. I'm a sucker for things like this. So I've got blue pins and red pins. 2 different pin cushions for 2 different lots of pins. Now there's a top and a bottom for this. So first of all I'm doing the top one, and then I will do the lining one, so that I know I've got these the right way round. I don't ordinarily sew so fussy with things like this. I usually line everything up in advance, way in advance. I'm just doing it. I've just got, stop it, don't be daft. Sewing machine thinks something's going wrong. There we go. What I'd done there was I had not got my, I am going to sew. Darts are better sewn from the seam end to the point, because that way you know that you are going to get the point of that dart in exactly the right place. And now I'm into the dart, I can remove the tailor's tacks. Please excuse me, I've got Maggie and Poppy at the background here. We're having a day at home today because Maggie's actually injured and she's not allowed out at the moment to run. She can go on leave, but she can't run, and she can't go on leave today. So I thought, well, seeing as I need this dress for Saturday, we'll have a day at home today. So there we go, I've gone over the end of the dart, so that one's sharp. Here we go, we've got the collar, which is a lovely deep collar, pinned on. Oh look, there you can see there. Can you see the collar? I'm just trying to catch it in the light here. The collar coming up there. So I'm going to pin it, machine baste it down, and then it gets sandwiched with the lining piece. And I will move the camera around when I do the sandwiching on the lining piece. And I've got the shoulders here. So I'm going to pop you onto time lapse. Right, I'm now back at the board. What I need to do now is to fit the lining so that the underneath this top, the idea is that you've got your top, and underneath there is like a lining, and it's from the lining that the trousers are attached. So now is to put the lining over the top. Now the lining has to go, it's the wrong side of the lining to the right side of the top, so that when it flips over like so, it's the right way round, like that. So I'm just going to pop you back onto time lapse, and I'm going to pin it together, because knowing me, this is going to take a little while. As you know, I celebrated a really big birthday, and I had the beautiful picture put up there from Tristan, Hannah and my brother for my birthday, and Tristan sorted it, didn't he?
Yes, so it was,
which is brilliant, because as Hannah says, Tristan doesn't always do the thinking, but this time he did. But they then gave me this, and it is a box. It is a sewing box. So we're going to go off the vlog and we are going to show you the box. What's, and it is really, it's like a letters and sound, which is the, those of you that aren't teachers, which is the British system for teaching synthetic phonics. There is a game that we all have to play with the children called What's in the Box? So before I open the box, Hannah, where did it come from?
So Michael and I found it in the arts and craft shop in Staves on our mini moon, and it was put in there by a local seller, artist, crafts woman, I believe.
Is it going to go down? Is it going to be okay there?
Yeah, it can go down.
Yeah.
Who had it in, I think, either a vintage store or somewhere else, and then moved it there recently just to try and sell it, because they had not been able to sell it where it was previously listed for sale, basically.
So we're trying to work out where it came from. It is a sewing box. It's got the most beautiful padded area at the top here. And with the reason we know it is a sewing box is, and I'm going to pull this out and hold this up for you, is it has this tray on the inside. And it has bobbin holders here. But inside the sewing box, it is full of things from the past. We have the ladies' ribbons. Lots and lots of lovely ribbons. Now these are the sorts of hair ribbons that were put in my hair when I went to school, and believe me, my school, my infant school, which is the 5 to 7s, FS2 to year 2, was green and white. So it's got cord, it's got hair ribbons in it, in this one. This Strepsil's lozenge tin, and I've not seen a tin for lozenges for many, many years. And inside this are eyelets to go with the eyelet maker.
I think Mum was most excited about the eyelet maker.
The eyelet maker. There's some instructions to thread a needle, but I can't find the needle threaded to go with it. Sock darner. Now the sock darner is plastic. Bit of a giveaway. Could it be 50s? Were they making plastic sock darners in the 1950s? There's some writing inside that, Hannah.
All guesses freely welcome in the comment section.
We're desperately trying to work out how old anybody might think this is. So we've got reels of cotton here. I'm trying to see.
Made in England.
Made in England. This has actually got a colour number on. It's 555. Look, it's even got tape on it. So it was obviously owned by somebody who was a prolific sewer. I'm trying to work out
It's a J brand product.
A J brand.
Made in England, J brand product.
Yeah. Embassy needles. Does anybody remember the embassy needle? Made in England by the British Needle Company of Redditch. There you go.
Because it can then contrast against your hand.
Beautifully lined with gingham, which matches this lovely ribbon we had earlier. Absolutely beautifully lined. And on the other side here, we've just found this in the top. More ribbons. Buttons galore. Does it say what it is? That's a Bakelite one. She's now trying to find one.
Vintage Bakelite collectible darning needle case J brand sewing equipment.
Does it say what year?
That's what I'm going to try and work.
And here we have the most, look at this for a needle case. Hold on. A needle case there. Oh.
Sorry, I'm leaning over in a very awkward angle. So, according to eBay, where we've just had a quick Google and found one, these date from around the 1940s, 1950s, and this bit does unscrew. So then your darning needles can live inside, and when you screw it back on, you've then got your top for darning against.
It's great, isn't it?
So 1940s, 50s.
So, yeah, so that probably tells us that the owner of the box probably could have been, not necessarily born, but sewing in the 1940s.
We believe the person who sold it may have picked it up from a house clearance. The American term would be estate sale, but the British version basically of somebody selling off bits and pieces from their house. We know the person who sold it was not the original owner, they bought it from somebody else. and then sold it on. So we think it's potentially sat in somebody's house.
But I love the way everything's all been bagged up into bits. Oh, these are great fun because these are the hooks and eyes. But the thing is, I can remember them being like this from my own mother. Oh, ever get caught short? Bra clasp. Got both sides of it here. There's the other one. In fact, looks more like a pantyhose like a girdle one. Sort of thing my grandmother used to wear. But these, the 555 brand. Oh no, it gets better, Hannah. It's Prim. It says Prim Stud on it. You see in the middle on that blue line, it says Prim Stud. And they're made in Germany. So that is the original Prim Prested. And more interestingly, yeah, there you go.
What?
Only genuine, made in Germany.
Which probably also dates it to more 1950s, because in the
we're thinking it's a 1950s sort of thing.
From Germany in the 40s.
Yeah, and then we've got some newies, world famous hooks and eyes. My mother had them like that. And I've seen snap fasteners on cards like this before.
Well look, it's got a price on the back.
Oh, well she bought this around 1971 because it's decimal. No, wait a minute. Is that P or D?
That is 6p.
6p. So that's post-decimalisation.
But
does this one have a price on the back?
We're thinking obviously somebody has collected all of this stuff over many a year.
What we're interested in is the date of the
basket.
I'm really sorry about the dings in the background. It is Rachel. And she's texting us because Hannah's just made her Isla top. And we're really proud of her. So that's this bit. And if we take this out, now I actually have put something in. I'll come to this book in a minute. I've put my knitting needles in because I had them out for Melanie stuff. It's got some sewing patterns in. Somebody has started to do some sewing. And this is all in it. And I'm not going to get rid of it actually. I'm going to keep it in there. Because to me, it's part of the provenance. That's a posh word for us. It's a very posh word. It's a shame these don't actually have, well, it's got an old telephone number. Because we now have 01s on our telephone numbers, and that's an 02. And right at the very bottom, got some Bargello patterns. All her sort of patterns and things are still here. But there was something about Christmas. What was that?
The
Christmas Workshop jam pot covers. There we go. The Christmas Workshop jam pot in cross stitch. And they've been taken out of a magazine or newspaper. Let's see if we can work out where they might have gone. Oh, Christmas Workshop, the school purse and pencil case. There we go. Not that I might need to make some. The old-fashioned school purse. I would say that these might date back to I think we're on to the 70s, but I think the box...
70s, 80s, I think, with these magazine clippings.
Yeah, I don't know, it could be 60s. Give dandruff the brush off.
That's an 80s hairdo.
Look at this.
We've dated this piece to the 80s based solely on the hairdo.
But I honestly think that this sewing box is older than the 1980s. I think it's probably 60s.
Yeah, and someone has just stored
It's definitely been well worn because the little metal thing there to hold it up. And Hannah and Michael bought it with the thought that when I go to Rachel's to have a sewing day or anywhere else to have a sewing day, I can take everything in it.
Because it was big enough to store everything, to know how much stuff my mum likes to cart around with her when sewing.
But what I've put in here that is appropriate is this is Mary Thomas's Dictionary of Embroidery Stitches. And inside, look at it, it's a really old book. Looks about the same age as all of these, but this book was purchased for me. I'll show you that.
It may not focus on that, Mum. Oh, there you go.
To Judi, November 1978, from G&G. And my parents insisted on calling my grandparents G&G, Grandma and Grandpa and Grandma. And this was a birthday present from my grandparents. And my grandfather always wrote in the books. So we put these back in. put the knitting needles back in because when Melanie needs more needles for Sophie. And I have to decide if it's a really solid, sturdy tray. And at the moment, anybody's got any ideas of how old you think it might be, where you think it might have originated from, please pop a comment in the box below.
Because we wondered about sort of saying to him like, oh, well, you can sand off all the varnish because it's clearly been...
It's been varnished, yes.
Heavily varnished at some point.
It's been well loved.
Well, yeah, this is it. But then we just also knew that my mum would just love the history and the fact of getting a
I've been all over the internet trying to look for one on the internet to give me some idea of how old it is. So thank you for staying with me, and I hope you've enjoyed this vlog with my makes on my birthday and this beautiful, beautiful box, and also that little clip of Poppy and Maggie at the very beginning of them running through the woods. Oh God, the colours in the trees are just so beautiful out there. So for now, I will see you on the next vlog. It's going to be basically, if it needs blue thread, let's get it sewn. And I've got quite a few things. And while Hannah's been making that, I've actually been making another Sheriden sweater. And I can't for the life of me remember which company made the Sheriden sweater, but I'll put it in the description box below. And thank you ever so much. If you've enjoyed this vlog, give me a like, and better still subscribe so you can see what I'm going to do next. Oh, and vlogmas. Oh, yes.
She's plotting.
I'm plotting.
She's plotting.
I've got a fantastic idea, an absolute cracking idea this year. Just hope you love it as much as you loved the last year's. Bye-bye.
Bye.